live. You see they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good to Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody. What's happening, family? Good morning. I see you, Houston. All right, all right. I got John Coltrane playing in the background. Y'all know I can't play it on here because they'll shut the stream down. But do me a favor, rep your city, rep your town.
Like when he actually starts.
Rep your city, rep your town. Also share, like, subscribe, and feel free to comment. I see you, Union, New Jersey. Today I'm talking about that. I'm just talking. I'm talking, y'all. Open forum. Probably going to be a myriad of topics. One of them is going to be this Last Supper or the Feast of Dionysus, which is what some say it was. Let me get the Instagram on here. Let me get my grammars on. All right, peace to the gram. Peace to the gram. Got the grammars on. I got the Twitter spacers on. I got everybody on now. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to YouTube. Welcome to Facebook. Welcome to Twitter. Welcome to those of you listening in the Pioneer Valley. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a heck of a week. We got the controversy with the National Association of Black Journalists, and they had Trump there, but not Kamala. It's hot in this studio, and they won't let me open the window. And the air's not on, so y'all pray for me. It's been a crazy morning. Me and my wife switched cars this morning. Y'all don't tell her I talked about her, okay? We switched cars this morning. I'm going to tell you about that experience. Little Coltrane in the background. In a sentimental mood. I do this in honor of Ben Swan, the long-time host of this Black Love Experience on Friday, Jazz Aficionado. He used to open up with this particular music, so I do the same thing. And then I follow it up with a little bit of Otis Redding. What y'all know about that? Try a little tenderness. I can hear it. Y'all can't. But you can go to WTCCFM.org. You can go to TuneIn Radio. You can go to iHeartRadio, all that stuff, and you can hear it. I'm going to play something y'all can hear on the Facebook and other streams where they won't shut me down in a minute. But just not this. I got my grandbabies in the studio again. You know, they harassed me.
And of course, and I'll do it again every day.
They harassed me about coming to the radio station. You know how that go. And it wasn't really about the radio station. Y'all know that, right?
It was about Starbucks.
You know, they
Chocolate chip pancakes.
They want the Starbucks
and the food
before, and they want the breakfast after.
Yeah.
That's
Candy.
That's what they're in it for.
Candy in their other room.
Oh, I didn't even know they was taking the candy out the other room here at the radio station.
Candy on the table.
So yeah, all it. I don't see how you eat candy first thing in the morning.
We don't. We just put it in our bags and eat it later.
Oh boy.
She's the only one doing that.
Lord help them. Help them, Jesus.
Well,
y'all pray for them.
I'm gonna get on the camera. You are.
Come on. That's Roxy.
I'm gonna uncomfortably stare. Yeah.
That's Roxy.
Oh. Hi. She's older. I'm younger.
That's Maya. They're both 12. She was born in September. She'll be 13 in September.
January.
She'll be 13 in January. So they're preteens at the end of the preteen years, getting ready to become teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Lydia said, hello, grandbabies.
Hello.
Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia.
Now, this is kind of crazy because usually I have to beg them to come over here and stuff, and they be like, no, no, no. All of a sudden today, they're jumping around like, we want to be seen. Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, let's go.
Don't tease her.
Oh, we're gonna finish? Yeah.
I think they're going to steal some more candy. Yeah, Francesca, you know, it's the crazy thing. All right, I can turn the music up a little bit. The crazy thing is they both look exactly like their mothers. It's like carbon copies, for real. It's the most eerie thing. It's like raising my daughters all over again. Maya looks exactly like Driscoll and acts like her. And Roxy looked more like Shannon than Shannon looks. So it's wild.
A positive attitude says everything about you. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Every day you get up, you've been given a gift. That's why they call it the present. And it's
I
up to you
put in your thoughts. What do y'all think about
history,
the white evangelical outrage
so don't let the pain of your past
over the so-called drag queen Last Supper?
Stop replaying the movie. Why did this happen to me? When it's done with you, be done with it. If it seems like you keep running into pigeons, it's an indication that you're flying too low. So set your sights a little higher. Remember, eagles fly by themselves. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. Allow your challenges to be a stepping stone to propel you into new possibilities. So be discontent with your past accomplishment. You're only as great as your last success. So maintain your hunger and your passion. Remember this, within every seed there is a tree. In every tree there is a forest. Who and what you were born into is simply the environment to prepare you for your ultimate purpose. It was not a setback, it was a setup. Your purpose and potential is bigger than your past, pain, or problem. Dedicate to you. Listen to your heart, don't let your mind.
I have no idea what they're out there doing.
Dedicate to you.
That's what I think too. Hypocrites.
Successful people will do the things they hate to get the things they love. Much of life is about sacrifice. You got to give up something to get something. Success is not about what you've accomplished, but it's what you have overcome. For it's the test that you pass in life which qualifies you for the next level. You have to be willing to face your challenges and overcome them.
I'm gonna throw a question out there for y'all.
12,000 miles a year.
Y'all gonna think it's sexist, but I'm gonna throw it out there. 90.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to the Black Love Experience. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan II. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, the end of the work week. It's been a heck of a week. Very emotional for my family. some health challenges within the unit, and solicit your prayers. We're still people of faith, and so we're leaning on that at this moment. National Association of Black Journalists declined for Kamala Harris to appear virtually at their annual convention, and they had Trump in person, even though he has disrespected most of the members of the NABJ. And just black journalists in general, but black journalists in particular, what I'm talking about. But they had him there, and he was just as disrespectful when he was there as he normally is. Crazy, real crazy stuff. What else is going on? Oh yeah, I'm talking about this Feast of Dionysus, depicting drag queens, etc., that white evangelicals mistook as a mockery of the Last Supper, and there was some outrage about it, and I got a different twist on it. And there were even some black preachers who were upset and were wondering, are the preachers going to say anything about this? I'm going to give you my spin on it, especially the way they depicted what they showed at the Olympics on the top and on the bottom. Somebody look it up and post it in the chat section. And on the bottom, they had the Last Supper as painted by Leonardo da Vinci. And I'll tell you what I think about the hypocritical outrage of both white Christians and black Christians over this thing. I'll take your telephone calls, 413-736-2781. If you're in the Twitter space, we'll definitely get you on. And of course, if you're on our other social media platforms, feel free to put your comments in the comment section. And it'll be open forum morning. One of y'all got the weather for me? Huh? One of y'all got the weather for me? Okay, let's see. Let me let the grandbabies give us the weather. You gonna give it, Roxy?
We're both giving it.
Okay, you're both giving it. Roxy and Maya. The weather from Roxy and Maya. All right. All right, you ready? The mic's on. Yes, they can hear everything y'all are saying.
Okay. So today, at least right now, the weather is 79 degrees, the highest of 90, the lowest of 68, and a 60% chance of precipitation.
All right. What about the rest of the week?
Oh.
The weekend and the rest of the week.
Okay, so tomorrow on Saturday, the highest is 89 and the lowest is 72, and there's a 45% chance of rain.
All right, 45% chance of rain on tomorrow. So what are y'all looking at eating when we leave here?
Chocolate chip pancakes.
Oh. Sorry. I just really like
chocolate chip pancakes.
I love chocolate.
So that's Roxy. She wants chocolate chip pancakes. What about you?
I have zero idea.
She has no idea.
I want coffee from Starbucks. That's why I know.
But she wants to go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, this is a response to the sellout by Rhonda Swan. We'll be back with our conversation. Right, let me turn their microphones off.
Yay.
We'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere. Let's get into this conversation.
You say you sold out because black women are loud and crass. What? And your precious white woman is the epitome of class? Are you so blind that you cannot see? That pale girl child ain't got nothing on me. For hundreds of years we have stood by your side, accepted your flaws and allowed you your pride, bore your children and cleaned up your mess, satisfied your lust and always settled for less. We have stayed in the background and allowed you to lead, trusting in your strength and ability to succeed. never getting the praise and credit we deserve, but having the courage, the will, and the nerve, for being the backbone that has kept it together, for you and our children in all kinds of weather. And now suddenly you say we're not good enough for you. We forced you to sell out because of the things we do. Well, where was that white woman when that white man you hate was
Cracking the whip.
In the boardroom, the warehouse, and on the slave ship? She stood by his side and didn't say a word, waiting for her own chance to rule and be heard. And now it's her you turn to and treat like a queen? And me and my sisters you choose to demean? Well, hold up, wait a minute, and stop the damn bus. Because there are a few things I need to remind you about us. Listen up. A more beautiful creature
God never made
than an African woman, no matter her shade. High, yellow, red bone, or
cocoa brown.
We are more than worthy of wearing a crown. Ebony, mocha, or
Black as the night.
It is we who have always shared in your plight. We are passionate, spiritual,
loving and kind.
A more generous heart you'll never find than the one that beats inside the body of a
Nubian queen.
The hardest working, loving, giving woman you've
ever seen.
But we give and forgive
until there's little left.
Then we're forced to put up our guard to avoid your theft. The theft of our hearts and our trust, the very nature of
I
our
see you,
souls,
Chicago.
by our so-called brothers.
Come on, rep your city, rep your town.
And you wonder why some of us act as we do? Take a look in the mirror, because the answer is you. It's not enough that the white man has always tried to keep us down, but our own men act as though they'd love to see us drown. And white women have never invited us to join their equal rights struggle. So we're out here alone with a million things we juggle. Raising
what y'all having for breakfast?
Black men leave behind and dealing with the racism of the daily corporate.
Anybody having grits? Come on, put it in the chat
section. Loud hell, we're just trying to be heard. In a world where everyone, including our men, ignore our every word. Where are the brothers who understand a black woman's worth? Right here, who will protect and stand by us, for we are the salt of this earth. We birthed you, raised you, and showered you with love. It was we who taught you to love your creator above. We gave you all we had and taught you to be men. Open your eyes, it is us, your black sisters.
Not Bo Derek's kind.
Who rate a perfect 10. And one final word for the sellout to
claim to be brothers.
When you turn your back on us, you disrespect
your mother.
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that?
This is a response to the sellout.
90.7 WTCC. That's a response to the sellout. Y'all know who you is. Some of y'all listening to me right now. 413-736-2781 is the number here if you want to chime in on the conversation today. Man, so I'd love to know your thoughts on the NABJ controversy. Do you think, just put it in the chat section and put this question in the back of your mind. Feel free to call in with your commentary on it. Do you think the NABJ should have had Donald Trump? Now, they put out the invite to Kamala Harris. She had a scheduled conflict. Of course, had the rally in Atlanta. And had to go to the funeral of Sheila Jackson Lee. So as an alternative, her team asked if she could appear virtually, to which NABJ declined. And then she asked if she could choose another date. Of course, they declined. And so they went ahead with just Donald Trump. And of course, Donald Trump has disrespected all kinds of black journalists. I mean, April Ryan, Jamel Hill, Al Roker, Don Lemon, Abby Phillip. I mean, it just runs the gamut, that he has blatantly disrespected. And when he got there to the NABJ conference, he disrespected him some more. I know my late sister Rhonda Swan, who you just heard her spoken word piece, was a dedicated member of the National Association of Black Journalists for as long as I can remember. She was a journalism major at UMass and worked in journalism her entire life. She was the first Black editor at our local newspaper here, the Republican, um, before she moved on to bigger and better things in Delaware and in Virginia, and then in Florida. And she would have been completely outraged at them having Donald Trump there. So let me know your thoughts if you care to share. I see you, Pensacola, New Jersey. I see you, Houston. Who else is checked in? I asked y'all, rep your city, rep your town. Chicago is in the building. New Jersey is in the building. Detroit is in the building. Springfield is in the building. Raleigh, North Kakalaki is in the building. Toronto, Canada is in the building. Johannesburg, South Africa is in the building. I got some more Houstons in the building. Lavon, Texas. I'm not sure what part of Texas that is, but welcome. Lavon, Texas is in the building. Kansas City, Missouri is in the building. More Chicago up in here. Union City is in here. Some more Houston is up in here. Yeah, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you are chiming in from. I rep the field. Clarksdale, Mississippi. Mississippi in the house. Some more North Carolinas are up in here. Good morning. New York City is in the building. Yes. More Chicago is in the Australia is in the building. Good morning, whatever part of the planet you're on, wherever you're chiming in from. Welcome, 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 welcome. So that was the first question I want to throw out there is about the NABJ situation and what your thoughts are on that situation. Washington, D.C. is up in the building. Then what are your thoughts on this? I'm going to get into this Last Supper thing, but what are your thoughts on we talked a little bit about it. We weren't on the air on Monday because there was a power outage here on the campus, and I was going to deal with it then. In the wake of Kamala being endorsed by Joe Biden and politicking to secure commitments of delegates to make her the nominee, the night Biden announced he was not running, 44,000 Black women got on a call, raised $1.3 million. The next night, 44,000 Black women. The next night, 53,000 Black men got on a call, raised $1.5 million. That inspired white women, like 40,000 white women to get on a call. And then you had 50 some odd thousand white men for Kamala who got on a call and raised several $1 million. And then Elon Musk suspended the account of white men for Kamala. Boy, a lot of stuff going on around this election. So you can feel free to let me know your thoughts in terms of the election. Now, I told you I was going to share with you my experience this morning because me and my wife switched cars. And excuse me, I might be a little sexist about this. I've been married a long time. I've been married 33 years, since 1991. 33 years. That's a long time, right? That's a long time, right? Yeah, I think that's a long time. And one thing that is consistent is, at least in my experience, I'm not going to paint all the sisters like this, but I'm sure I do know some brothers who have similar experience. That, women drive cars, and that's what they do. They drive them into the ground. They,
Huh?
they,
Say old
oh, my
women.
granddaughters are speaking up now.
No, don't say old women.
Woo! I got liberated 12-year-olds up in
Why
this
are you
piece.
looking? Why are you looking? Exactly. It's not old women.
Ooh, now,
Why are you looking?
listen,
Not even all women. It's some specific women that don't even really care about their cars. Don't say all women because there are women that take care of their cars and actually care for them. So do not group anybody into not caring for their car just because they are female.
okay, so my granddaughters have spoken. Anyway,
And
let me,
he obviously isn't interested in cars, so she could care less.
so let me get back to my subject here without the peanut gallery on the sideline.
Have a peanut head.
I'm turning their mics off.
Ew.
So listen. So anyway, some women, is that better, Dristle? Dristle Jr. I called her mother's name. is that better, Dristle Jr.? Some women drive cars into the ground. Maintenance, it's just not their thing, you know. Now they have the ability to pick up the phone and make arrangements for anything else, but then when it comes to the car, I know in my experience, when it comes to the car, my wife is like, "Baby, something wrong with the car. You need to call the shop and put it." I'm like, "Yeah, your fingers work. Can't you call? Can't you make the appointment?" Anyway, so long story short, a couple years back, you know, I traded my car in. I bought. I was driving a Mercedes ML 350. I wanted an X5 for a long time, so I bought a BMW X5 and I gave my wife the Mercedes. Perfect condition when I gave it to her. But anyway, so we traded cars this morning because she was going to Connecticut for something, whatever. She needed to take my car. So I'm getting ready to go to the radio station. I can't start the car first because the battery on the key fob is low. So the car is having difficulty recognizing the key. So it takes me a while to get the car started, and I get in the car. Guess what? Ain't no gas up in this piece.
Huh?
No gas up in this. It's like on reserve fuel. Okay. Then the light comes on and says, at your next fueling stop, check the engine oil. So I got three things going on at the same time. The battery is low in the key fob. Ain't no gas in the car. I'm riding on fumes. And I gotta get some oil in the car. Now I know when she got in my car this morning, it started up with no problem. There was no key fob battery issues. She had a full tank of gas. Oil level was fine. All that stuff. So my grandbaby Roxy hipped me to what the strategy was. And tell them again, Roxy, what you thought Mimi was doing. What the strategy was? You can talk to the mic. What was the strategy? You said she probably switched cars with you. Oh no, that was Maya, right? That's Maya. Maya told me why she switched cars with me, and tell me what your thoughts were on that, Mrs. I'm Every Woman.
I'm everyone. It's all. But I think that she switched cars with you because she knows that you're gonna take care of her car, so she can get it fixed with you doing it instead of her. So then she can take a car that's perfectly fine, so you can fix that too.
And the problem had been happening for like 2 weeks already.
So Roxy says, well, this issue's been going on for 2 weeks and Mimi's done nothing about it. And Maya's surmises that she switched cars with you today so you could notice what's going on with this car and you could fix it. Now, this is coming from Miss I'm Every Woman, you know. But anyway, that's what happened. So, brothers, y'all got any similar experiences like that? Just drop it in the comment section. Or am I by myself? Is this unique to just me and my situation here? But if you got that same experience, holla at your boy and let me know. I need to get into this conversation about the Last Supper. Let me get Untouchable Jay up in here. Jay, you got the microphone. You're in the space.
She found out in a car.
Oh, wow.
So one day, right, we're working and we had a big parking lot. One of my other coworkers, he said, I'm gonna run to the store. He asked to borrow her car. You know how that goes. It's closer to the front of the building. He drives it back. He said, that thing is smoking. He said, there, when was the last time you had an oil change? And she replied, what's an oil change?
Oh,
She
wow.
was 3,000 miles over when she needed to get her oil change. And he told her, you need to get this to a shop immediately.
I think I'm back on. Facebookers, if I'm back on Facebook, let me know. Holla at your boy. I can't see the chat now. Can't see the chat now. So I'm gonna have to pull up my Facebook on somewhere else just to make sure I'm back on. Anyway, 413-736-2781. I think I started something. Now don't y'all tell my wife I was talking about her, okay? Yeah. Don't y'all tell her that. I'm sure Brother Muhammad, tell me if you can y'all see me on Facebook now? What the dealio? Somebody holler at me and tell me yes, no, maybe so. YouTube, whoever, holla at your boy. Let me see if I can get my chat back up. I'm at a disadvantage when I can't see what my listeners are saying. 413-736-2781 is the number here. Okay, I'm back on. Okay, Bro Michael told me I'm back on. All right. So, yeah, and feel free to call in, share your experiences. Y'all let me know. Sisters, y'all can call in and say, you know what, I take care of my car. I don't know what you talking about. Blah 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 blah. I mean, if that's you, then feel free to let us know that you handle that business. And brothers, if y'all got a similar experience to that I have, just let me know that I'm not by myself. That this is not an anomaly, that this is, maybe not just the exception to the rule, or whatever the case may be. Um, just let me know. All right. So um, the Olympics. So the Olympics, they had this depiction of the Feast of Dionysus, and if you don't know what that is, then go ahead and look it up. All right. The Feast of Dionysus, and it depicted, it did depict some drag queens, and it was an eclectic, interesting piece that was done, and immediately it was assumed that it was a mockery of the Last Supper. And of course, the Last Supper has been depicted by various artists over the years. Probably the most famous depiction of the Last Supper is what was painted by Leonardo da Vinci in somewhere between 1495 to 1498. Somewhere in that time. Thank you, YouTube. Let me know that you hear me. Um, 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 and so they compared. They put the depiction from the Olympics on the top, and for comparative purposes, the painting of Leonardo da Vinci on the bottom. And white evangelical Christians mostly express their outrage. Okay, I mean they were upset. There was a wave of outrage that swept through the white evangelical community and even in some black Christian communities in response to this, what they assumed was a Last Supper depiction during the Olympics. Now, this was characterized by some very vociferous and vehement disapproval, demands for respect toward Christian religion, religious figures. But here's my thing. Let's say that was a mockery on the Last Supper. It actually wasn't. It was really, a spoof on the Feast of Dionysus. But let's say it was a mockery of the Last Supper. My problem with the outrage over it is the fact that there has been an historical silence from the same community about another form of misrepresentation. What's that, Bishop Swan? I'm glad you asked. The depiction of the Last Supper with all white people. I mean, they ain't never noticed that. Even to my black Christian brothers and sisters who were all upset about, how dare you disrespect the Last Supper and the Christian religion and show these drag queens. Y'all ain't never had no problem with all the bunch of white folks sitting at the table painted by Leonardo da Vinci and so many other artists in Northeast Africa where black folk were living. Y'all never had a problem with them depicting an all-white cast. And so this selective outrage, highlights an inconsistency, and it raises questions about the underlying motivation and the biases within these responses. You know, this depiction of the Feast of Dionysus by drag queens, it was a deliberate artistic expression that was meant to challenge traditional views and to provoke thought. They say, this is what they say about inclusivity, about identity, about the boundaries of religious representation. But for many white evangelicals, the portrayal was seen as sacrilegious and disrespectful to a sacred Christian event in Christian history. And Black Christians saw it much the same way. There was an intense uproar. And many folks citing the need to protect the sanctity of religious symbols and religious narratives and to respect Christianity and so on and so forth. Yet, for centuries, Western art has depicted the Last Supper with Jesus and his disciples as white Europeans. Blonde hair, blue-eyed white folk, and not Black Africans. And no one has had a problem with that. So my question is, what's that all about? Why y'all ain't never have a problem with white Jesus, but you got a problem with the white drag queen? I'm just asking the question. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. Is this the Bishop?
It is.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I was just listening to you live, so I didn't know you were on a delay or whatever. I've got points on both the Last Supper and on paying for cars, because I had an incident come up this morning about that. Do you want to put me on the air?
You're already on the air.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. So as far as the Last Supper, a couple weeks ago on your show, The Spoken Word, the guest was Dwayne, I believe his name is, and he was talking about how the white Jesus was actually modeled after a pope back in God knows when, the 1600s. His son became the image of the white Jesus. And I thought that was really interesting because it's obviously all incestual and, just ridiculous. So that was one point. And also I did get to see the original painting by Leonardo in Milan in 1970 when I was 12 years old. I went with my parents and we got to see that painting, and it's quite impressive. And it survived the bombing of that cathedral during World War II, I guess, because they sandbagged it, and that one wall with the Last Supper was saved from the rest of the building was more or less destroyed. So that is that. I don't know if you want me to jump into the car.
Go right ahead to share your experience.
Okay, this morning. So I have, I'm newlywed to a foreign woman. She's English. And we have a financial arrangement. I provide room and board for her, and I give her $100 a week for her personal spending money. Now, she also has half use of my car, and of course, she doesn't put anything into it. So this morning, she told me she has to go out. She's going out tomorrow night and the night after to do her own thing, party or whatever, hang out with friends. And she was like, oh, well, the car needs gas in it. And I'm like, well, you're going to be using it, so why don't you put money in for the gas of your play money, of your pocket money, since you're the one using it? And she got all upset, and she just expects me to pay for even the gas that she's going to use riding around with. So I thought that was funny and kind of tied into, and I hope it makes everyone feel a little bit better, because I'm just dealing with like a total one-way, I supply everything. And of course, she's not legally allowed to work yet because she doesn't have her green card. she does have a couple of small gigs under the table that is working for her. But
Well, I think you're experiencing what the late Bishop O.T. Jones Jr. said was his wife's mentality, and he said his wife's mentality was what's his is hers, and what's hers is hers.
Right. And the fact that I just married this woman and we have a prenuptial, maintaining obviously my assets. I own my own property and stuff, my own house. And now all of a sudden, since she got married, it's like she assumes she's entitled to half of everything that I've built up my entire life. After being married for within the first month, this just started happening. So I hope that's consolation for some of you guys, that probably have slightly more stable and understanding relationships with your women. But yeah, I just wanted to share my particular little angle on things.
All right. Appreciate your call.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I want half, Eddie. Y'all remember that Eddie Murphy stand up? We was talking about Johnny Carson's divorce and how his wife got half, and people would be marrying people who came straight from somewhere else, and say, I'm full American woman, Eddie. I want half. 413-736-2781. Sisters, get your own gas. Let me stay out of that. I'm gonna let y'all give your own experiences about this particular situation here. So yeah, for centuries, this art has depicted, and I know, there are a lot of white folks who say, "Oh, Jesus wasn't black; he was brown." Yeah, whatever. I'm brown, and what do you call me? Black. Yeah. He was Middle Eastern. He's a Middle Eastern Jew. Yeah, okay. They'll say anything to keep from him being black. One thing we know, he was not a white European. And all them folk who are depicted in Leonardo's Da Vinci Last Supper, Jesus and his disciples didn't look nothing like them. Okay? It's a gross inaccuracy, but it has never sparked the type of outrage that we saw over this depiction at the Olympics. Never. You've never heard white evangelicals be upset about that. And the selective nature of the outrage reveals a deeper, more troubling inconsistency. The discomfort with the drag queen depiction stems not only from what they pretend is a genuine concern for historical or theological accuracy, but it's from a resistance that they have for any marginalized community, for anything that goes against their traditional norms. That's the reason why they're so resistant to accurately depict a black Jesus and some black disciples. They have no problem with their centuries-long acceptance of whitewashed depictions of the Last Supper, which is nothing but an uncritical perpetuation of Eurocentric standards and an implicit endorsement of racism and racial bias. We don't really care that this is historically inaccurate. In order for us to push white supremacy, white superiority, we cannot have Jesus and his disciples looking like black and brown folk. So we have to depict them as Europeans, because in order for you all to accept that we are superior, deity can't look like y'all. And so these hypocritical white evangelicals get upset about the drag queens, but not the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus. And their hypocrisy has significant cultural and theological implications. By failing to address the racial inaccuracies of this so-called religious art, white evangelicals perpetuate a form of cultural imperialism that erases the true ethnic and cultural identity of biblical figures. And this not only distorts historical understanding, but it also alienates non-white Christians who find their heritage misrepresented, ignored, and ultimately erased. They have no problem erasing you. None whatsoever. No problem pretending you didn't exist in Africa 2,000 plus years ago. And so their vehement reaction to the drag queen depiction suggests an underlying discomfort with anyone who doesn't conform to their norms. And their selective outrage is basically a tool to reinforce their traditional norms under the guise of protecting religious sanctity. And it ain't about that. It ain't about that. Because if they really wanted to protect religious sanctity and protect an accurate depiction, then they would have been moved toward an authentic representation. And they have never done that. Addressing the hypocrisy requires a commitment to authentic representation in all the religious narratives. And this means they would have to challenge their long-held biases, and they would have to reevaluate the ways that they have depicted religious figures. It would call for a broader embrace of folk who don't look like them. And so, you know, they have abdicated their responsibility to confront the ways in which their historical and cultural assumptions have shaped religious art and religious narratives. So, in my conclusion on that issue, I don't want to hear nothing about y'all being upset about the drag queens if y'all ain't upset about the white Jesus and the white disciples. Okay? That's where I am on it. That's where I am on. And that goes for you black Christians as well. If y'all can live with Leonardo da Vinci's white Jesus and white disciples, don't say nothing to me about the drag queens. I'm on the radio, girl. Turn that down. Grandchildren. Yeah, don't say nothing. As long as you got white Jesus up in your black church, I don't want to hear nothing about the drag queen. Okay? Long as you got white Jesus and white disciples up in your house, or you still carrying one of them Bibles with the pictures of the white angels and the white Jesus and the white disciples, don't say nothing to me about how upset you are about the drag queens. Because if you ain't upset about black people being erased, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And that's my final answer. All right? Straight up. If you ain't down with black Jesus, then I don't want to hear nothing about drag queen Jesus. For real. It sounds comical, but I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. And you'd be surprised at how many black churches still have these Eurocentric depictions of Jesus and his disciples on their stained glass, on their we should have grown out of that by now. I was looking at some weeks ago, going through some historical documents, and I was shocked. Church of God in Christ is now 117 years old. I found the 50th year, the Jubilee, the 50th, not Jubilee, whatever the 50th year is. Anyway, I found the 50th year program to the National Holy Convocation in Memphis. And smack dab on the cover of it was Jesus. White Jesus. I got to tell you, I was shocked to see it. And I know, that was 1957. That's before I was born. And I know you probably had far more black churches with depictions of white Jesus and white Last Suppers in it than you do today. But in my historically black denomination, I was actually shocked to see on the cover of the 50th anniversary convocation program, white Jesus. Of course, that was 1957. This is 2024. I shouldn't go into any white church, any black church rather, and see programs with white Jesus on it. I shouldn't go into any black funeral homes and see the fans with white Jesus on it. It just ought not be. We should have graduated from that by now. Listen, if you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ. We are at 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, the Brick Church, right there at 6 Corners, 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday morning. Prayer, praise, and preaching. We're building better tomorrows by changing lives today. Tonight is the final night of our annual Women's Convention for the Vermont Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction. I'll be preaching tonight at 7 o'clock at Spring of Hope. If you're not doing anything, stop by and worship with us. I'll be back on Monday morning if we got power. Hopefully we won't have the same glitch we had this past Monday. At 9 a.m. For the spoken word. And maybe the grandbabies will be here, trying to get to Starbucks and all that kind of stuff. Coming up next, mid-morning jazz, great black music, and more. Don Felton is in the studio. He's going to make it smooth. He's going to make it personal for you. So don't you touch that dial. Keep it locked right here on 90.7 FM WTCC. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember God loves you, and so do I. Peace and blessings.
Super. Good. Englewood. Purple rain falling down on the prince of the coast with the sunshine. All year round. Purple haze over landscape, still I hydrate in the lunch line. The smog and cloud, start me out. This song's in the key of life, and love is in need of more. Young from Inglewood, barefoot on the cedar floor. If black music is the blood, then my heart has been beating more. Rapidly, happily, I look back on the Phoenix. She'll call her son, paved the way. Now all eyes on me. Cause I'm young, black, and gifted. Me, now all eyes on me. Y'all talking about? If you smoke back my face with a challenge, that's meant to break you and balance scales. You ain't average, now throw your hands on three. Won't put them up.